The oil lamp flickers. The flame bends once, twice, then holds still, as if something in the air has changed. A boy lies on a stone floor, wrapped in a thin linen cloth, eyes closed. The sanctuary is dark. The Ark of God rests behind the great curtain, silent, heavy with presence. Then a voice. Samuel. The boy's eyes snap open. He sits up, breathes hard, looks around. Nothing moves. No one is there. He rises quickly, bare feet slapping cold stone, and runs through the dark corridor toward the old priest's chamber. Eli, Eli, you called me. The old man stirs, opens clouded eyes. His voice is slow and thick with sleep. I did not call you, child. Go back and lie down. The boy stands in the doorway, confused, afraid of something he cannot name. He turns, walks back into the dark. The lamp flickers again, and the voice comes a second time. Long before kings ruled Israel, long before armies marched under banners of iron, there was a time when the voice of God had grown quiet, when visions were rare, when the word of the Lord was precious because it was scarce. The tabernacle at Shiloh still stood. Its curtains still hung. Its lamps were still tended by aging hands. But the priesthood had been corrupted from the inside. The sons of Eli, the high priest, were wicked men. Men who stole from the offerings, who dishonored the sacred things, who turned the house of God into a place of personal gain. And Eli, the old man who loved God but loved his sons more, had never truly stopped them. Israel was spiritually starving, not for food but for a word. And into that silence, a woman named Hannah had prayed with everything she had wept until she had no more tears, had made a vow that would cost her everything she loved most. And God had heard her, God had remembered her, and she had given back to God what God had given to her. A boy, a child of promise, set apart before he could speak. His name was Samuel, and he had grown up inside the tabernacle, serving, learning, watching the old priest move through sacred rituals. He did not yet know the Lord, not personally, not yet. The scripture says it plainly. The word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him, but that was about to change. The lamp of God had not yet gone out. That detail matters. In the tabernacle, the sacred lamp was kept burning through the night, a sign of divine presence, of covenant faithfulness. It burned low before dawn, nearly spent, but still burning. And Samuel lay near it, in that fragile space between sleep and waking, when the voice came again. Samuel, the same voice, unmistakable now, close, not a dream. He ran again to Eli, breathless. Here I am. You called me. The old priest pushed himself upright, and this time something shifted in his ancient eyes. A recognition, a fear perhaps, or something older than fear. Go lie down, he said quietly, and if he calls you again, say this, speak, Lord, your servant is listening. Samuel walked back through the corridor alone. No torch, no guide, just darkness and the sound of his own heartbeat. He lay down on the cold stone. He waited. The lamp flame held perfectly still. And then the presence filled the room. Not loud, not violent, but total, overwhelming in its nearness. The kind of nearness that makes you understand, for the first time, that you are very small and very loved at exactly the same moment. Samuel, the boy did not run. He did not hide. Speak. His voice was barely above a whisper. Your servant is listening. There is something devastating about what God said next. He did not comfort the boy. He did not ease him into revelation with gentle words. He spoke a judgment, a hard, irreversible word against the house of Eli. The priesthood would be shattered. The old man's sons would die on the same day. The legacy of Eli's family would be cut off, not because God stopped loving them, but because Eli had chosen his sons over the holiness of God. And there are consequences to that choice that even mercy cannot simply undo. Samuel lay still until morning. He was afraid to tell Eli what he had heard. But when the old priest found him at dawn and asked, "What did the Lord say to you? Do not hide it from me." The boy told him everything, every word, without softening it, without changing it. And Eli listened, and when it was done, he said only this, "He is the Lord. Let him do what seems good to him." That morning, something new had entered the world. A prophet had been born, not with a crown, not with a sword, not with a display of power, but with an open ear in a dark room and a willingness to say, "Speak, I am listening." Samuel grew, and Scripture records one of the most striking phrases in all of the Old Testament. The Lord was with him, and he let none of Samuel's words fall to the ground. Think about what that means. Every word Samuel spoke in the name of God came to pass. Not some of them, not most of them. None fell, none failed. Every word was like a stone dropped from a great height. It landed exactly where it was meant to land, and it landed with full force. This was his legitimacy. This was how all Israel, from Dan to Beersheba, came to know that Samuel was truly a prophet of the Lord, not through a title, not through an appointment, through faithfulness, through a track record of truth. He judged Israel at Mizpah. He anointed kings. He rebuked the powerful when they strayed. He stood before Saul, the tall, handsome king whom the people had demanded, and said to his face the words no one else would say, "To obey is better than sacrifice, and to listen better than the fat of rams." Samuel never held a sword in battle, but his words moved nations. He was a child who had nothing, no lineage of power, no royal blood, no army at his back, only a mother's prayer and an open heart. And God took that and built a generation of history on top of it. Before the visions, before the prophecies, before the kings, there was a woman weeping at an altar. Hannah had been barren in a culture where barrenness was shame. She had a husband who loved her, but love cannot fill a wound that only God can touch. Year after year she went to Shiloh. Year after year she wept. And one year, she prayed a prayer that crossed a line, a prayer of total surrender. "If you give me a son, I will give him back to you, all the days of his life." Eli watched her lips moving with no sound and thought she was drunk. She was not drunk. She was the most sober person in that building. "I am a woman in deep anguish," she told him. "I have been pouring out my soul before the Lord." The old priest softened. "Go in peace," he said, "and may the God of Israel grant what you have asked." She left, and for the first time in years, her face was different. The weight had lifted. She had not yet received the answer, but she had given the request to the one who holds all answers, and that was enough to change the way she carried herself. God remembered Hannah. She conceived. She gave birth. She named him Samuel, "Because I asked the Lord for him." And when the child was weaned, she brought him back to Shiloh, back to Eli, back to the altar where she had poured out her tears, and she left him there. She left him there. That is the part that stops you. She gave back the very thing that had healed her. She kept her word when keeping her word meant emptying her arms. And God did not forget that either. He gave her 5 more children. But the son she had given away, that son became the voice of a generation. The story of Samuel begins not with the boy, but with the woman who prayed him into existence. It begins with a pain that had no natural solution, with a prayer that seemed, to human eyes, to go unanswered for years, with an act of surrender so complete it looked like loss, and turned out to be the most powerful thing a human being can do in the presence of God. Samuel did not choose his calling. He was shaped by someone else's faith before he was old enough to understand what faith was. And yet, in that dark room with the lamp burning low, when the voice came, he had to choose. He had to lie back down. He had to wait. He had to say the words that would open him to everything God had prepared. "Speak, your servant is listening." Those 5 words changed the history of a nation. You are not Samuel. Your story is not his story. But the God who spoke in the night, who chose the smallest voice in the quietest room to carry the weight of an entire generation, that God has not changed. He still speaks into the darkness. He still looks for someone willing to stop running, to lie back down, and to say, "I'm here. I'm listening. Whatever you say, I will carry it." The question is not whether God is speaking. The question is whether you are in the room.